Okay, so hello, I am Gadot from Israel. Thank you for coming for to my presentation on digital curation as a pedagogical approach promoting critical thinking. This study is a part of a more extensive study that I'm conducting with Dr. Tsybulsky from the Technion. First, I will introduce the subject, then I'll talk about our research and present the DC2CT pedagogical model. And finally, I'll mention some suggestions for further research. So, during the 21st century, information and communication technologies developed rapidly. The amount of data grows exponentially, and there are significant changes in the way people consume information and how they communicate with each other. This requires us to reconsider the literacy and skills needed in the 21st century. Critical thinking is considered essential for the 21st century education, especially in STEM. This is because scientific knowledge and reasoning influence problem solving in the real world and shape people's understanding and the ability to analyze information. In STEM courses, research shows that certain pedagogical approaches, such as inquiry-based learning, are significantly improve students' critical thinking skills. But most research in this area is focused on classroom learning. And today, education and learning process occur not only in the physical settings, but also in digital and virtual environments. Therefore, a novel teaching methodology is required in these settings, which existing methods cannot provide. Okay, so curation is a cultural phenomena that has existed throughout history. Originally used in museums and art galleries, traditionally it involves tangible items. The challenge was to find valuable items in a shortage situation. Then the curator has to pick out the concurrent ones and combine them as an exhibition. Currently, information overload has changed the situation completely. Today, curation is essential to information science. A content curator gathers relevant digitally based information about a particular area of knowledge. And the current study aims to present a theoretical model of digital curation for developing and utilizing critical thinking among learners in a digital environment. Digital curation is defined as using a digital tool to create a digital collection by filtering and evaluating the quality, reliability, and credibility of digital resources. Curators create digital curation in a spiral process. They start by defining search terms. Then they use multiple resources and different media in a particular field and evaluating the items. Next, they group and arrange the selected items into a digital collection, and then they add their point of view. After doing that, they finish to create an anthology that tells their story, and finally, they share the digital collection with their target audience and peers. The digital collection is then used as input for stage one. This leads to a spiral process. Critical thinking is defined as a process of applying reflective thinking to the decision-making, which involves identifying and evaluating the validity and reliability of assumptions, source of data, and available information. It is crucial to develop critical thinking skills to be able to see, think, research, question, and solve events in a scientific manner. In the present study, we conceptualize critical thinking according to the Delphi project definition as purposeful, self-regulatory judgment, which results in interpretation, analysis, evaluation, and inference. In today's knowledge era, curators use dedicated skills that promote critical thinking skills through choosing relevant information, judging and evaluating, adding opinions, and finally creating digital collections throughout the digital curation process. As such, digital curation may involve essential and critical thinking activities, which are, as I said, evaluation, analysis, and inference. This study aimed to develop a pedagogical model describing how the digital curation activity engages and promotes critical thinking. 3 research questions were at the base of this study. The first one was whether and in what ways does students' engagement in digital curation require critical thinking. The second one was whether there is a significant difference in the level of critical thinking between undergraduate and graduate students while engaging in digital curation. And the third one was whether there is a significant difference in the level of critical thinking between students who are taught about digital curation before engaging in digital curation and students provided with no instructions. The participants were 94 undergraduates and graduate students from 3 Israeli universities. The participant population was diverse and represented different groups regarding nationality, religion, age, and gender. The students were asked to create digital collections using Scoopit, which is an online digital curation platform. Scoopit provides a curation stream based on the curator's choices, enabling users to participate in a knowledge community and create digital collections. The students were encouraged to choose information items carefully. In addition, they were asked to add their opinion on the curator items. The digital collections needed to have at least 20 publications. The data were collected in 2 ways. First, we collected data via log files of the curation activity. The data were collected for 101 days, twice a day at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. The collected attributes were the number of published items, curator's insights, number of views, number of items that the curator found outside the curation stream, and number of items that others shared and the curators republished in their collections. Then we analyzed the content of the digital collections via criteria that we developed for this study. So based on the literature and by analyzing 5 data collections of expert curators with the high reputation in Scoopit, we define 7 factors to evaluate the quality of the collections. The factors are adequacy level of the items for the level required in the assignment, updating level, reliability of the sources, the connection between the items, contribution, diversity of sources, and personal insights. We analyzed the data in 2 phases. First, based on the preliminary research, we coded the data according to the criteria listed below. Then we conducted a statistical analysis of the data. I will present some of the results according to the research questions. Regarding the first questions, I will start talking about the quality of digital collection. According to the judges, the digital collection exhibited high quality, which suggests that creating digital collections involved critical thinking. We can see that the quality's mean score was 369 out of 5, while 52% of the collections scored 4 or higher, and about 8.5 were scored 5. Second, the curator's activities were comprised of the specific features associated with critical thinking evaluation, analysis, and inference. In order to identify the variability in activities across curators, we performed the factor analysis. 3 factors explained 75.34% of the variance. Factor 1 comprises 4 items, explaining 35.53% of the variance. These items theoretically represent the evaluation factor. Factor 2 was comprised of 3 items, explaining 26.74% of the variance. These items theoretically represent the analysis factor, and factor 3 was comprised of 1 item, explaining 13.07% of the variance. This item theoretically represents the inference factor. These findings indicated that using digital curation is a pedagogical approach that involves the specific activities associated with critical thinking. Regarding the second question, we found that academic level affects evaluation capability. We performed the ANOVA test and found a significant difference between undergraduate and graduate students in the evaluation variable. And regarding the third question, some of the participants were taught about digital curation before doing the assignment, whereas others received no instruction and only a practical explanation. A ANOVA test indicated a significant difference in the evaluation variable between students taught about digital curation according to students who received no instructions. The findings show that digital curation creates a rich, active environment that allows curators to build an ontology in their areas of interest. Digital curation is a learning activity that requires the learner to adopt critical thinking strategies, such as critical reading, to understand the meaning of the information, link new information items to existing information items, and organize the digital collection into a coherent story. We present a pedagogical model, DC2CT, which describes the curator actions and the criteria for evaluating the quality schematically. The model can be used to analyze learning activities and guide digital curation teaching. The DC2CT model shows how critical thinking is expressed in the digital curation process in the form of activities that promote evaluation, analysis, and inference, and contain personal activity and social activity. DC2CT model can be used to promote critical thinking through digital curation. As I said, the exponential increase of data demands critical thinking skills rather than knowledge storage. Digital curation is a pedagogical approach that can be implemented from the lower grades to higher education. At any age, the actions can be tailored to the students to foster critical thinking skill. There are several limitations to this study. First, the participants' mother tongue was Hebrew or Arabic, and the digital collections were created in English, which is a different language than the native language. Further research should examine digital curation with curators creating the digital collection in their native language. Second, in this study, the participants were university students. Further study should examine the feasibility of digital curation as a pedagogical approach that promotes critical thinking in middle and high school students. And finally, digital curation is a pedagogical approach that utilizes 21st century skills. The current study examined digital curation as a pedagogical approach promoting critical thinking. Further research could explore how it supports other types of thinking skills. Thank you.